stood in the doorway of our bedroom, completely frozen. My wife Emma was tangled in our sheets with him, with Marcus, my best friend's husband, the man who'd been at our barbecues, our game nights, our kids' birthday parties. His eyes met mine first, then hers. And instead of panic or shame, Emma just smiled, like she'd been waiting for this moment, like she wanted me to see it. That smile broke something inside me that I didn't even know could break. I turned and walked out, my legs moving on autopilot while my brain screamed at me to process what I'd just seen. But I couldn't. Not yet. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button now. Your support means everything to me. If you've ever felt underestimated by your own people around you, you'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. I sat in my car outside our house for 2 hours, just sitting there, staring at nothing. My phone buzzed constantly. Emma calling, texting. I didn't look. I couldn't look. Finally, I drove to hotel parking garage, concrete levels, car doors echoing, security cameras everywhere. Perfect for following, waiting, catching them arriving or leaving together, and checked in. The woman at the front desk asked if I was okay. I must have looked terrible because she upgraded my room without me asking. That small kindness made me want to cry. I lay on the hotel bed and tried to understand how my life had exploded in less than 3 hours. Emma and I had been together for 8 years, married for 5. We had problems, sure. Who doesn't? But I never thought she'd do this. And with Marcus of all people. The next morning, my phone had 47 missed calls. Most from Emma, 3 from Vanessa, Marcus's wife. My stomach dropped when I saw her name. Did she know? Had Marcus told her? I couldn't face that conversation yet. I texted Emma instead. 1 word. Why? She responded immediately. We need to talk. Come home. But I wasn't ready. I needed to think. I needed to figure out what I wanted. So I drove. Nowhere specific. Just drove for hours until I found myself parked outside a coffee shop named Kitchen Island, morning coffee brewing, mail piled up, domestic routine. Where confrontations happen over breakfast and normal life shatters over mundane countertops in a town I'd never been to before. I went inside and ordered something I couldn't taste. A woman sat down across from me. It was Vanessa. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back messily. But there was something else in her expression, something hard and determined. How did you find me? I asked. She held up her phone, location sharing. Marcus's car has it. I've been tracking him for 2 months. My blood went cold. 2 months. This had been going on for 2 months, maybe longer. Vanessa ordered a coffee and sat back. I know what you saw yesterday, she said quietly. I saw it too. Different day. Different hotel, same betrayal. We sat in silence for a long moment. 2 strangers connected by the worst thing that had ever happened to us. Then she said something I didn't expect. I have a plan, and I need your help. I should have said no. I should have walked away and handled this like a normal person. Lawyers, divorce, clean break, but I was angry, angrier than I'd ever been in my life. And Vanessa's eyes had this fire in them that made me want to burn everything down too. What kind of plan? I asked. She leaned forward. The kind that makes them feel exactly what they made us feel. Humiliation, betrayal, loss. I want them to understand what they destroyed, and I want them to know we did it together. It sounded extreme, maybe even crazy, but sitting there in that coffee shop, watching this woman who'd been shattered just like me, I felt something click into place. All right, I said, tell me what you need. Vanessa's plan was detailed, scary detailed. She'd been preparing for this moment for weeks, maybe since the day she first suspected. First, we wouldn't confront them directly. Not yet. We'd let them think they'd gotten away with it. Let them get comfortable. Meanwhile, we'd gather everything. Photos, messages, bank statements, everything we'd need for the divorces. But that wasn't enough for Vanessa. She wanted them exposed, publicly. I want everyone who sat at our dinner tables and celebrated our marriages to know exactly who they are, she said. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook slightly. I thought about Emma's smile. That cruel, satisfied smile, and I nodded. When do we start? I asked. She smiled for the first time. We already have. I went home that evening. Emma practically threw herself at me when I walked in, crying, apologizing, saying it was a mistake, a moment of weakness, that it meant nothing. I stood there and let her words wash over me without really hearing them. I'm staying at a hotel, I said finally. I need time to think. Her face crumpled. But I love you, she sobbed. Do you? I asked. Because I saw your face yesterday. You looked happy. She started to deny it, but I held up my hand. I need space. She grabbed my arm. Please don't tell anyone. Please, this could ruin everything. Our friends, our families, my job. I almost laughed. She was worried about her reputation, not about us, not about what she'd done to me. I'll think about it, I lied. Vanessa and I met every day that week. Coffee shops, parks, quiet corners where no one knew us. She showed me everything she'd collected. Hotel receipts Marcus had hidden. Texts he'd deleted but she'd recovered from cloud backup. Photos Emma had posted on social media that lined up perfectly with times Marcus said he was working late. It was meticulous, damning, and it hurt to look at. How are you so calm? I asked her one day. She looked at me with those tired eyes. I'm not calm. I'm focused. There's a difference. When I fall apart, it'll be after they've faced consequences. Right now, rage is the only thing holding me together. I understood that completely. I was running on the same fuel. Emma kept trying to fix things. Flowers delivered to my hotel, long emails about how sorry she was, promises to go to counseling. She even showed up at my work one day, crying in the parking lot. People were staring. She knew they were. This was part of her strategy, I realized. Make a scene. Make me look like the bad guy if I didn't forgive her, so I played along. I agreed to counseling. I came home. I let her think I was considering forgiveness. At night, she'd curl up next to me and whisper about how we'd get through this, how strong our love was. And I'd lie there, thinking about Vanessa's plan, counting down the days until everything would come crashing down around Emma's carefully constructed world. Marcus called me out of the blue. We should talk man to man, he said. I almost hung up, but Vanessa had prepared me for this. Record everything, she'd said, so I met him at a bar. He bought the first round, looked me straight in the eye and apologized. I messed up, he said, but Emma came on to me. She was having problems with you and needed someone to listen. It just happened, I nodded, took a sip of my beer, let him keep talking. He painted himself as the victim, the good friend who got seduced, who made one mistake. Meanwhile, Emma was telling me he'd pursued her relentlessly. They couldn't even keep their lies straight. I recorded every word. When I left, I texted Vanessa. Got it. She responded immediately. Perfect, we're almost ready. The gathering was Vanessa's idea. A dinner party, both couples, just like old times. Emma was thrilled when I suggested it. See, she said, kissing my cheek, I knew we'd get past this. I knew you'd forgive me. I smiled and said nothing. Vanessa and I had coordinated everything. The date, the time, the guest list. We'd invited 12 other people, close friends, family, people who mattered to both Marcus and Emma, people whose opinions they cared about. Emma spent days preparing. She bought a new dress. Got her hair done. She thought this party meant reconciliation, a fresh start. She had no idea what was actually coming. The night before, Vanessa texted me, tomorrow changes everything. Are you ready? I typed back, more than ready. The party started perfectly. Music, laughter. Emma played the role of happy hostess. Marcus told jokes and poured drinks. Vanessa and I played our parts too, the forgiving spouses, the couples who'd overcome adversity. People kept commenting on how strong we were, how inspiring. Emma glowed with the attention. Around 9 o'clock, Vanessa stood up and clinked her glass. She wanted to make a toast. Everyone quieted down, gathered around. Emma smiled at her. Marcus looked slightly nervous but tried to hide it. Vanessa's hand was steady as she raised her glass. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, she began. Her voice was clear, strong, because there's something Marcus and Emma need to tell you all, something they've been hiding. Emma's smile faltered. Marcus went pale. Before either of them could speak, I pulled out my laptop, connected it to the TV. The screen lit up with a photo, Emma and Marcus, entering a hotel, time-stamped, dated. The room went silent. Emma made a choking sound. Wait, she started, but I clicked to the next image, then the next. Different hotels, different dates. 2 months' worth of evidence. Vanessa spoke again. For 2 months, my husband and her wife have been having an affair. They've lied to us, humiliated us, made us look like fools. Emma was crying now. This is insane, Marcus shouted. You can't do this. But Vanessa just smiled. That same hard smile I'd seen in the coffee shop. We already did. Someone's phone rang, then another. Word was already spreading beyond this room. People started leaving. Some looked shocked, others angry. A few seemed uncomfortable, like they'd suspected something all along. Emma's sister stopped in front of her. How could you, she whispered. Emma reached for her, but she pulled away. Marcus's brother just shook his head at him, disappointed, disgusted. Within 20 minutes, the house was empty except for the four of us. Emma turned on me. "You bastard," she screamed. "You planned this. You humiliated me." I looked at her calmly. "I humiliated you. I showed people who you really are. That's not the same thing." She lunged at me, but Vanessa stepped between us. "This is what you deserve," Vanessa said quietly. "Both of you. You destroyed our families, our trust, our futures. This is just the beginning of consequences." Marcus grabbed his keys. "We're leaving," he said to Emma. But Emma was staring at me with pure hatred now. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "Both of you will. I'll take everything in the divorce. I'll ruin you." Vanessa laughed. "Actually, about that. We filed this morning, both of us. No false states, but with infidelity documented, we have leverage for favorable terms." Emma's face went white. "You what?" "The lawyers have everything. The photos. The hotel bills charged to your joint credit card. The texts. You wanted to protect your reputation? You should have thought about that before you betrayed us." Marcus was pulling Emma toward the door now. She was sobbing, screaming, making threats. But they left, and suddenly the house was quiet. Vanessa and I stood there, surrounded by abandoned drinks and half-eaten food. We cleaned up in silence. It felt surreal, like we just detonated a bomb and now we were sweeping up the debris. "Are you okay?" Vanessa asked finally. "I don't know," I admitted. "I thought I'd feel better. Victorious or something." She nodded. "Me too. I just feel empty." We finished cleaning and sat on the couch. Two people who'd become strange allies in the worst chapter of our lives. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for going through with it, for not backing down." I looked at her. Really looked at her for the first time since this started. She was pretty, kind eyes despite everything, and brave, braver than me. "Thank you," I said back, "for having a plan, for making them face what they did." She smiled sadly. "We make a good team." The next few days were chaos. Emma's social media went dark. Marcus apparently moved in with his brother. My phone exploded with messages, some supportive, some critical, some just nosy, wanting details. I ignored most of them. The divorce proceedings started quickly. Emma tried to fight it, but her lawyer advised her to settle. The evidence was too strong. She'd lose badly if it went to court, so we negotiated. She got less than she wanted, but more than she deserved. I kept the house. Most of the savings. She'd have to find her own place, her own life, without me propping her up. Vanessa's divorce was messier. Marcus fought harder, but he'd made mistakes. Big ones. And slowly, inevitably, he lost ground too. Vanessa and I kept meeting. Not to plan anymore, just to talk, to process, to help each other through the aftermath. She understood what I was going through in a way no one else could. The anger, the grief, the strange guilt that came with blowing up your own life even when it was justified. One day she brought coffee to my house. "It's weird," she said, sitting on my porch. "I spent 2 months planning revenge. Now it's done and I don't know what to do with myself." I laughed. "Same. I keep waiting to feel satisfied." She looked out at the street. "Maybe satisfaction isn't the point. Maybe we just needed them to know they couldn't get away with it, that we had power too." That made sense. More sense than anything else lately. Emma tried to reach out a few times, emails asking if we could talk, texts saying she still loved me. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. She'd made her choices. Now she had to live with them. Marcus apparently moved to another city, started over somewhere no one knew what he'd done. Vanessa seemed relieved when she heard. "Good," she said. "I don't want to accidentally run into him at the grocery store." I understood that. The idea of seeing Emma around town made my skin crawl, but I wasn't going to let her chase me out of my own life. I'd stay, rebuild, prove I was stronger than what she'd done to me. Vanessa seemed to be thinking the same thing. We were survivors, and we were done being victims. Months passed, the divorce finalized. I got used to living alone, found rhythms and routines that were mine, started going to the gym, reading more, reconnecting with friends I'd neglected. Slowly, life started feeling normal again. Different but normal. Vanessa and I still met for coffee, less frequently now but regularly. She'd started a new job, cut her hair short. She looked lighter somehow, like she'd put down a heavy weight she'd been carrying. "You look good," I told her one day. She smiled. "So do you. It's amazing what happens when you're not living with someone who's betraying you." We laughed. It was dark humor, but it felt good to laugh about it, to take some of the power away from the pain. One evening, Vanessa asked if I'd want to grab dinner. Actual dinner. Not just coffee. I hesitated, not because I didn't want to, but because it felt like crossing a line. We'd been brought together by trauma, by revenge. Was that a foundation for anything real? She must have seen my hesitation because she quickly added, just as friends. No pressure, I smiled, I'd like that. We went to a small Italian place, talked about normal things. Work, movies, plans for the future. It was easy. Comfortable. For the first time since that horrible day in my bedroom, I felt like myself again. Not the betrayed husband, not the vengeful ex, just me. And across the table, Vanessa looked like herself too, not Marcus's wife, not a woman scorned, just Vanessa. It was nice. We started spending more time together. Movies, hiking, normal friend things. People talked, of course, small town gossip, but we didn't care. We'd already survived the worst gossip. What was a little more? One night after a movie, we sat in my car outside her apartment. "Thank you," she said suddenly, "for everything. For being my partner in all of this, for understanding." I looked at her. "Thank you too. I couldn't have gotten through this alone." She smiled. That small, sad smile I'd come to know so well. "We made a good team, didn't we?" "We did," I agreed. "We still do." She looked at me for a long moment, then leaned over and kissed me. Soft, tentative. When she pulled back, she looked nervous. "Sorry," she said. "I shouldn't have." But I was smiling. "Don't be sorry." We took things slow, really slow. Both of us were damaged, scared. But there was something there, something real and solid that had nothing to do with Emma or Marcus. It was built on honesty, on seeing each other at our absolute worst and not running away, on understanding pain and choosing kindness anyway. My friends were skeptical at first. "Isn't this weird?" one asked. "Starting something with your ex-wife's affair partner's wife." "When you put it like that," I said, "everything sounds weird. But this feels right. And after everything, I've learned to trust what feels right." Vanessa said her friends reacted the same way, but we didn't care. We'd both spent years caring what other people thought, living for other people's approval. We were done with that. A year after that terrible discovery, Vanessa and I moved in together. Emma heard through mutual friends and sent me a long, bitter email. "You're making a mistake," she wrote. "You're only with her to hurt me, to prove a point." I deleted it without responding. Emma still didn't understand. This wasn't about her. It had stopped being about her months ago. This was about building something new, something honest. Vanessa and I had been through fire together. We'd seen each other's worst moments and darkest impulses, and we'd chosen to be better, to build something good from the ashes of something horrible. Marcus apparently remarried quickly. Some woman he'd known for 3 months. Vanessa just shrugged when she heard. "That tracks," she said. "He never could be alone." Looking back now, I don't regret exposing them. Some people think we went too far, that public humiliation was cruel, but Emma and Marcus made choices. They chose to betray us, to lie, to humiliate us privately while pretending everything was fine. We just brought the truth into the light. There's power in truth, in refusing to protect people from the consequences of their own actions. Would I do it again? Honestly, I don't know, but I know I'd stand up for myself again. I'd refuse to be a silent victim again. Life is strange. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you cracks you open enough to let something better in. Vanessa and I built a life on honesty, on respect, on actually seeing each other. Emma taught me what I didn't want. Vanessa showed me what I did. So to anyone watching who's been betrayed, who's been humiliated, who's been made to feel small, remember this. You have more power than you think. You deserve respect and honesty and real love. Don't settle for less. Don't protect people who hurt you. And don't be afraid to walk away and build something better. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the very end of this story. I really appreciate every single one of you here on King's Revenge Vault. What would you have done in my position? Would you have exposed them publicly or handled it privately? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is building a better life. Take care of yourselves out there.